Monstrous Revenge goes legal this weekend, and Kong's Cards decided that they wanted to have another tournament showcasing, or at least attempting to showcase, some of the meta post-Monstrous Revenge, just in time for this weekend's remote YCS. Big 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out on more else content. Remember, if you guys check out Kong's Cards, use discount code MCO40, you'll get the chance to save on your purchase. Top 16 out of this event. We had 4 Kashtira. I'm not surprised about that, actually. Kashtira usually being the more dominant monster out here in terms of, these top 16 representations. Usually pretty good. We also had 3 Sprite on the follow-up here as well. I'm also not that surprised. Now, keep in mind that I believe these are 2 Sprite Runic decks and then 1 Sprite Brigade as well. So, definitely some interesting stuff there. We also have 2 Fallen of Albaz variants, so you gotta love branded. And then we have 2 Mana Diem. Really, Mana Diem actually cracked through here. It actually did some relatively interesting stuff. Then we have Runic for Hire. Yeah, that's right. I classify that as its own little thing. We also had Tier Elements, Minkanko, Marincess, and then a Libromancer deck made its way in to top 16 here as well. Now, top 8 tells a little bit different of a story here. We lost half of the Kashtira through the preliminaries. Shame, actually. Then we went down to 2 Sprite, so double Sprite variants actually holding on out here is kind of interesting. 1 Albaz deck made it through as well, which Albaz ended up winning this event with a 50-card variant, which we'll showcase here in a second. And then Runic for Hire made its way through into top cut as well. And then we had Tier Elements doing its thing as well. And then the Minkanko Duelist also carried their weight here, making it in to top 8 here as well. Now, for this being post-battles Monstrous Revenge, we didn't really tend to see it really impacting a lot of things. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, this changes everything. No, it really doesn't all that much. So it's interesting to see the landscape of things out here doing their thing, but all right, let's pass on over to those top deck lists. Winning our event here was none other than Outs the deck. Man, you gotta love Dark Ruler, Super Poly Talents, and Evenlies. And then the nice consistent package that we get from good old Branded here. And then I see we have cross-up designators down here for some extra defensive options. And then, of course, Albion, the bring your opponent to the gimmick puppet, brink of destruction. Yeah, this is all pretty standard stuff. 50 cards is probably like the craziest thing about this deck, but everything else is very branded at this stage. Next up here we have Cash Money Dollar Bills. To be perfectly honest with you, this deck is pretty standardized at this point. Yeah, you have some lances for defensive options, citing the additional. We have the Book of Moons down here as well, but this deck's entire job is it's going to get things done ASAP. And usually, trust me when I say this deck usually gets things done. Like, there's a reason why that this is the consistent monster that it has been all format. So, very nice to see that, we're still playing Goliath down here as well. Next up here we have, yeah, this is technically Runic for Hire Sprite. Nice little 5-card Sprite package in here. But basically, the whole fact that this card just generates a whole plethora of advantage, and it's also searchable off a fossil deck. You gotta love some dinosaurs, man. We've really reached the point of value down here. And then we have Nightmare Crept Ribley down here, and then some good defensive options. But these 2 cards, actually pretty insanely strong. What else we got back here? Oh, hey, Tier Elements. Okay, so standard tier list, Shizu package present. We're doing King of the Mud shenanigans. We have Trivi Karma in here as well. There's Sprint for the absolute value. Outside of that, we have the Bysteel package in here as well. This deck got another high place, and as long as you're a good player, you know what you're doing with this deck, you typically will patch your deck's weaknesses. RNG is also an amazing thing. And what else we got back here? Oh, hey, look, it's Runic for Hire. Excuse me, Runic Twins. What we talked about in the past, where, you use this as your draw engine, this is your consistent advantage build engine, and this is your interruption package, and, free advantage chicken nuggies at this stage. Oh, I see we're also playing Mannequin Cat down here as well. This deck has some very interesting pathways that it can actually play the game. And honestly, it's one of the better little option trees available out here. Next up here, we have Kashtira. Hello. Well, there's a double thrust. Main deck and triple evenly. I just can't believe the fact this deck is playing, what, 8 monsters? And then this is like control aspect of the deck. Like, if something happens, you yikes. That's the best thing that I can really say about this variant of the deck. But typically, if you can cover your bases, you'll be really good. Also, massive hand trap sighting down here. All right, next up here we have, okay, so this is our little Tri-Brigade Sprite variant out here. Gotta love the setup, the one interruption off of everything that you do just to shrug your opponent for one card. I mean, on the bare minimum, this deck is still good at what it does, which is interrupting the opponent and proceeding to laugh all the way to the bank. But I don't know. I don't really have anything else too crazy to really say about this deck as of late. It's still pretty strong. Next up here is our Minkanko Duelist. Wow, they really carried their weight here for this tournament. We are doing standard Kaiju shenanigans. We're not doing the stuff that we saw out of the last tournament, where they're doing like Durandal, you know, the equip stuff. This is just pure advantage, reflection damage, you know, do what you need to do to clear the game. And honestly, deck is a lot of fun. Like, on the bare minimum, for what you're working with here, as long as your opponent doesn't know what in the world is going on here, it's awesome. Top 16 here. Hey, it's Mana Diem. I see Hero Lives, of course, for the one Prisma. Basically, this deck still works on the same premise of, you know, you roll out big, scary board and then laugh at your opponent. But this build is also playing Gravity Collapse here as well. So if you run into a Synchro matchup, you flip this, or, you know, any sort of matchup, this is literally free. So that's really, really scary. Next up here, we have more cached here. Okay, so this build focusing in, we're still playing shifters, which is fine. No additional hand traps minus imperms. We're a little bit more defensive savvy here with the books, the lances, and the econs. Wow, they went full on out here. I see we also have some board breakers down here as well in the side deck. Yeah, no tier elements cached here, but we are doing the Scareclaw cached here, so looks pretty straightforward to me, honestly. Alright, what else we got back? Oh, hi, I'm more cached here. Alright, hello Radions, how are you? We're doing the double rise heart here. Standard, we actually made decking lightning storms, that's interesting. Pot of Prosperities, no desires in this build. Then we have Dark Holes, Cosmics, Dark Rulers, all the additional board breaker shenanigans-y stuff to make sure that you can clear this up. Yeah, there's nothing else. Once again, this deck has been standardized to the moon, and you don't really get a lot of variant change out here. Next up here, hi, Branded 2.0. This build decided it wanted to go ahead and main deck Gimmick Puppa here. Hello, Dark Magician. I see. Because we're main decking the Gimmick Puppa, we have to actually play this. We have the Dark Dragoon, of course. We have Super Pulleys down here in the side deck, so we can go ahead and board break as well. And of course, cross out designators as well to make sure that you can punish the opponent. But okay, I don't see anything too crazy out of left field here. Okay, what else we got going on here? Hey, Marincess! Holy moly! There's my favorite card in the whole wide world, Gozen. I wish we were playing the Stealth Kraken or had the room to play the Stealth Kraken in this, because that's just a free auto-win button when it does actually come up. We're also playing the Rivalry of the Warlords, so you got your equalization of floodgates that you want to play. Nibiru for free hand trapping, and then Talents just kind of blow the opponent out of the water. I don't see anything else out of left field here. Alright, next up here is this is the pile. See, we're playing Sphere modes in the main deck. We do have some Minkanko stuff in here, but most of this is going to be dedicated to the Libromancer engine. So I feel your entire board here is set up big board and go. See, we're playing Tzolk'in to cross on into the Crystal Wing here, and then it's just kind of Easyville from there. This deck is definitely one of the more interesting things that I saw out of this tournament. Good stuff for this actually doing its thing. Oh, what else we got back here? Oh, Sprite. Good stuff again. We said we wanted to play 45 cards today. We're daring. We have Lava Golems in here for disruptions. There's the Soul Scissors. This shows up every once in a while as a little tech extender for the deck. What else we got going on here? Oh, this is pretty standard stuff, honestly. If you were expecting like something relatively like out of left field here, you're not going to get that with this deck. Also, I mean, extending out and playing an extra copy of something doesn't really give this deck all the craziness. And then we have our other Mana Diem list. Okay. This build was playing Tier Element stuff in here as well. Wow. We're going full extensionville here with this. I haven't really seen a lot of people testing out the inclusion of this in the deck, but yeah, everything does what it needs to do here the way it looks. So that is what we're looking at right now. Very, very interesting stuff. I am very curious to see how, the meta will continue to shape up. But what do you guys think? Please, check out our friends at Kong's Cards. Use discount code MCO40, and well, you guys have a good rest of your day. All right, peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.